nature and the outdoors are two things that I hold very close to my heart. When growing up as a kid, I spent most of my time outdoors, whether that was climbing trees, digging for bugs, taking those bugs home and looking after them, or helping my mum in the garden with her flowers, or my grandparents in their garden with their vegetable plot and greenhouse. I love the changing of the seasons. I love the bounties and the colour that it brings. So, as we start to shed off this cold winter chill and welcome in the new life of spring, I thought I would plant some fresh flowers and vegetables of my own, including something that you can grow super easily in your own house. Let's go. Now, when doing gardening projects, you can't just use the soil from the ground. If you're using a plant pot, you're going to want a decent compost. Something like this that's peat-free means that there's no nasty fillers that's going to not benefit your plants, basically. There we go. And into a container of this length, I would recommend just emptying the whole 10 litres. As when everything is done and packed down, you are going to lose some height. I'm just making sure it's all evenly distributed. And don't be afraid to get your hands in there. Part of gardening and nature is getting dirty. Okay, that's looking good. Now we can get the bulbs. Now, the two types of flower that I have chosen for this planter box are begonias and ranunculus. This is because these are two very bright and busy looking blooms, and I think it will fill this space on either side well. Don't forget to read the back of your bulb kit so that you have proper instructions of where, how and when to plant these flowers. Now, these should be coming up to bloom quite soon in spring with their very warm reds, yellows and oranges, and that goes for the same with the ranunculus. Don't forget to check the back, and so these two should, fingers crossed, bloom together. Also, don't forget, when handling bulbs, you should be wearing gardener's gloves, as some bulbs can irritate the skin. I will not be wearing gloves today because I am a high elf and my skin is perfect and bulb resilient, so I have no need. Let's get started. I'm actually going to plant the begonias in the front of the pot and the ranunculus in the back on either side. So let's start off with these two larger pieces of the begonia. Bulb bag. Here we go. So this is what it looks like. They remind me of potatoes. And I'm going to read the back one more time because I just like to be sure. So these need to be pushed 5 centimeters deep into the soil. And I will do that with this trusty trowel. So these are going at the front on either side. I am just going to literally dig down. You could even, to be honest, just use your finger and just dig a spot for it. And once you're done with that, you take the bulbs and you just place them in. Make sure you get them the right way. And then cover them back up with soil. Remember, of course, where you put those, because we're about to put some more bulbs in. Now, the ranunculus comes with a few more bulbs, and they are much smaller in comparison. Whoa. Here we go. Oh, I just dropped one. Found it. How weird. These are really funny looking. Okay, I'm in love with these. So these look like little Fresno, what are they called? Fresno night walkers? Check these out. So it kind of looks like a bunch of tubes or a bunch of legs with this slightly fuzzy top. Like that. How bizarre. So, bulbs in one hand. And I'm gonna put a couple in, basically, just two towards the back. Now these, I think, these need to be a bit deeper in the soil, and they will also grow higher than the begonias. This is how I would like it to look, with the sort of bushel of begonias leaning towards the front, and then the taller ranunculus towards the back. So we've got a couple of holes there. You still only want to put one bulb per hole, I believe. Yes. Or maybe a couple you'll probably be safe with. But also don't want to overcrowd the space. And two on the other side. I am a big fan of sort of symmetry when it comes to this sort of gardening. But of course, no two things in nature are the same, ever. But in plants and displays, especially like boxes like this, I like to, you know, view it as an art piece, really. You're making a whole arrangement, a whole display, a living art piece, living, breathing art piece. There we go. So that's the bulbs in. Any spare bulbs can just go back into the packaging. Ew. And now, just got the vegetables to go. The vegetables I have chosen to plant today are basil and the Japanese green from this spicy and aromatic collection mix. Now this is easy enough, really. I used to grow some vegetables as a kid, as most kids do. You know, you start off with things like lavender, rosemary, basil, which are quite easy to look after. So I'm going to do the same sort of style that I've done with the flowers, in that there's going to be one row of one type at the back and the other row a different type at the front. So Now it says to sow these quite thinly, so I am just sprinkling as I go all along this back row here. And then for the front, we're going to use this salad mix. So I'm just making a little trough at the front, just to put things just below the surface and sow them easier. And now the seeds for the Japanese greens. And I'm doing the same again. Just putting a bunch quite thinly in at the front. There we go. And pat it all down secure. Now that this outdoor planter box is finished, it will be left somewhere sunny and watered regularly until life starts to bloom. Next, I'm going to plant some chili peppers in this 16 centimeter pot for growing something indoors. Now, an easy vegetable such as peppers can be something that's very simple, but still an effective way to just bring a little bit of the outdoors, in with you and really brighten up a home. And of course, you get the added bonus of having food at the end of it, something that you grew yourself to add to meals. And that's just quite nice, you know, and special. You deserve it. You deserve to make time to make yourself good food. Now, planting our chili peppers is going to be very similar to how we planted our greens. You want to fill a pot with more compost, more soil. This is a 16.5 centimeter pot. There we go, just like that. You want to get your seed packets. Now this is two different types of chili. This is serrano chili and cayenne chili pepper. And I'm just going to take a couple of both and plant one on either side. They don't make them easy to get into. Don't forget to keep all your little pieces of plastic and trash somewhere where you can see them, because you do not want to be leaving any litter in your lovely garden. These seeds are so tricky. Yeah, top tip, just give it a flick if you've got to dislodge. And just like before, just move a little bit of the soil on top. And in there you go. Cover that side back up. And now onto the other side. Here. There we go. And you just sprinkle a little bit more on top if they're still exposed and pat it down. And there we are. And that's you all sorted and ready for spring. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, click the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see some more from me in the future. Goodbye.